Hey, ladies and gents, did y'all miss me? You probably like, girl, who, what? And if you are, no worries, friend. I'll take that too. Listen, I was just a little late, and that is on period. I realized this past Friday when I picked up my son from work that I had missed the third Monday. It slid right past me like a ship in the night. I was like, oh my gosh. I was supposed to put up an episode and I didn't even do it, and here it is, the end of February, like this week. No, listen to me. It's the end of February. And I'm thinking to myself, where's your episode at, ma'am? Sis, I was gone a little too long, but hear me. It was a very good and very necessary break. I learned some things about people, about circles, and about myself, and we'll unpack all of that. Okay, or maybe some of that in April. Yes, I'll explain later. But for now, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, belated Valentine's Day, and we might as well throw in St. Patrick's Day in there too, because apparently time is moving without permission. I missed you, but I came back with something juicy. Since we're still in the month of love, okay, and it's getting out of here like the flash, but right now we're still in the month of February, the last week of February at that. I want to revive Valentine's Day for a second and talk about the side of love that doesn't get roses, the kind that looks sweet but feels confusing, the side of love that has a name, but most people don't recognize it until they're already in it. So grab your favorite drink and come join me at the table. And just so you know, no breaks this episode. No breaks. We're going in. I'll be right back.
It's your go-to place for guidance. Step inside, see how good the vibe is. It's a girl talk and you're all invited. Cause every girl needs a girlfriend. Go-to place for guidance. Step inside, see how good the vibe is. It's a girl talk and you're all invited. Cause every girl needs a girlfriend.
All right, now that we done caught up and celebrated every holiday I missed, let's talk. Because since we're still in this love month energy, I don't want to talk about flowers. I don't want to talk about butterflies. And I definitely don't want to talk about matching pajamas. All right. I want to talk about the other side of love, the side nobody warned you about, the side that feels amazing at first, but leaves you confused later. Let me say something that might shake the room a little. Some of the relationships that hurt you the most never actually started with love. Okay? I just wanted to put a little pause there. And I'm going to say it again. Some of the relationships that hurt you or hurt us in our life, okay, I'm throwing me in there, that hurt us the most never actually started with love. They started with intensity. And the reason you stayed so long, or the reason we stayed so long, is because we kept trying to get back to the beginning. Today, we're talking about when attention feels like love, butterflies, or red flags, but it's actually a love bomb and it done blew up in your face. All right, let's let that sink in for a minute. Girlfriend or boyfriend, okay? Girlfriend or boyfriend. This is ladies and gents, okay? Have you ever met somebody and within a few days you felt like you were in a relationship without ever agreeing to be in one? Good morning texts, good night calls, checking on you during lunch, talking every day, and y'all just met. Part of you is smiling, but another part of you is going, wait, this is fast. I was reading an article from Cleveland Clinic about relationship behavior patterns, and it explained how intense affection can sometimes be used to create emotional attachment quickly. And that word stuck with me, quickly, because real relationships grow. All right. Manipulation rushes. I'm going to say that again. Real relationships grow. Manipulation rushes. And I'm going to give you an example. The dream man in 5 days, or the dream girl in 5 days. Okay. I had a girlfriend, and listen, by day 3, he told her she was the most peaceful woman he ever met. By day 5, he was talking about trips. By day 7, he was saying, I deleted my dating apps because I know it's you. Now, to her, that sounded intentional, but here's what made it confusing. He didn't know her favorite color yet, didn't know how she handles conflict, didn't know her schedule, didn't know her values, but he knew she was the one. You see? When somebody skips discovery and jumps to destiny, they're not connecting, they're attaching. Okay, I'm going to say that again. When somebody skips discovery and jumps to destiny, they're not connecting, they're attaching. So why does it feel so good? Love bombing feels like answered prayers sometimes because it gives emotional security immediately. You feel chosen, you feel prioritized, you feel wanted. And let's be honest, in a world where people barely text back, consistency feels like character, right? But attention and intention are not the same thing. Some people are consistent in pursuit, but inconsistent in character. And I know it feels so good, but love bombing, it does feel like an answered prayer because you want somebody to pay you some attention. You want somebody that love you. You want somebody that call. You want somebody that you don't have to tell or make plans. They making plans and stuff. And so when somebody comes in, all right, and they're doing those things that you've always wanted, then yes, it does feels like emotional security immediately. Okay. But watch this. What's the shift? Okay. Here's where it always changes. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the shift. Okay. Because this person comes in and they doing all this stuff and they're being so, consistent with everything. But there is a shift with this person. Watch this. Here's where it always changes and how you start noticing some things. They the same guy or the girl that texts all day. But now this person is saying, you didn't call me back. All right. They called you. And because you didn't call back at a specific time in which they felt like you should have called back, now they, saying some stuff. You always busy. You always got something going on. Well, I guess you just don't care like I care. All right. And now you find yourself trying to keep the peace for something that you didn't even break. Do you see the trap? They created a pace, then made you responsible for maintaining it. So now you're not dating, you're managing their emotions. And you'll start, doing things just to appease them. Well, let me call them back. Let me not, be so busy so I can have time for them. Let me show them that I care as much as, they care for me. And you may not even be at that point yet. Do you see what I mean? So let me tell you what love bombing actually is. Love bombing is forced intimacy. They build emotional closeness before trust exists. All right. So you feel bonded to someone you actually barely know. Have you ever had that? You feel so bonded to someone. You don't even know them. You just met them, but you feel so bonded to them like you've been knowing them all your life. All right. But watch this. Healthy love says, I'm learning you. I'm learning you. Love bombing says, I've already decided you. And that feels romantic until expectations start. Okay, until you start expecting them to do something or whatever. But if it's healthy love, they're learning you. They're taking their time. They're not rushing you. You don't have to, here you are at point A and you don't have to be at point Z tomorrow. Okay, you're at point A. Okay, we're going to take our time and get to point B. We're going to take our time and get to point C. A love bomber wants you to go from A to Z in a matter of minutes, in a matter of days. Okay, in a matter of a week's time. They want you to already be at Z. And that's unrealistic. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the pullback. Then comes the confusion stage. Energy changes. The text slow down, the tone changes, now you anxious, and you working harder than the person who pursued you. That's how you know something was off from the beginning, because real connection calms you over time. Manipulations hook you early, then makes you chase stability later. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. Manipulation hooks you early, then makes you chase stability later. Okay, so now you confused. Okay, now they done pulled back a little bit. Now they energy changing, the text messages. Oh, good morning, beautiful. I don't know about you, but I hate text messages like that. Good morning, beautiful. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say that. I feel like everybody in the world say that. Don't say that. Come with something different. Come with something new. Okay. So the text slow down, the tone changes. Now you anxious, and whatever, like I said, you working harder than the person who pursued you. But this is where discernment comes in at. Okay. Here's the test, girl. Here's the test. Here's the test, brother. Slow the pace. Slow the pace. They came in like a freight train, but slow the pace. Because healthy people adjust. Manipulators react. Healthy people adjust. They adjust to the change. Manipulators react. They're going to react to it every time. The moment you say, I like you, but I want to take my time. Watch their response. I like you, but I want to take my time. That's it right there. Manipulator is going to react. A healthy person, you say that to, they're going to adjust. Okay, cool. They may have wanted it to, go a little further, but hey, okay, I understand your boundaries. I'm good. Okay, we okay. I can handle that. But a manipulator, they're going to react every single time. All right, because they don't want that. Okay, so watch their response. A respect equals a green flag. Pressure equals information. Not rejection, information. Okay, that gives you the information that you need to know that, hey, I need to move on from this. Okay, healthy people adjust, manipulators react. So in our closing, yes, look, we already at the end. Look, I told you we're not going to take no breaks with this one. This was just something that that article just really did something to me. And I was just like, let me get on and talk about it, because some of my sisters and some of my brothers out here may be getting love bombed. Okay. I've gotten love bombed so many times in my life where I thought it was love and I thought it was, and that's how they get you. You prayed about it, wrote it in your journal. And all of a sudden, week, month later, it comes to pass. And this person is everything you wrote about and whatever. But honey, they pushing you to the altar in a week. Let's get married. Now, don't get me wrong now. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes things do happen like that. I've heard a story of somebody that met in 2 weeks, said they was, for one another and been married 40 years. Met in 2 weeks and have been married for 40 years. It happens, okay? But let me tell you something. When God writes your love story, it won't come with overwhelmingness. Like, you won't feel overwhelmed. You won't feel pressure. You won't feel the pressure to give in to, oh my gosh, to their demands and all of this and stuff. You will know it, because I think as a people, we know things, right? We know our gut tells us things. We may not listen to it all the time. We may bypass the gut. We might be thinking it's hungry. Okay. And no, it ain't hungry. It's trying to tell you something. So we might bypass it a lot of times, but if we really tell the truth about it, your gut told you about that situation before you even got into it. Your gut told you about that situation with the first word they said, the first sentence. Your gut was already speaking. No, 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 no. That's what it was saying. No. Your gut was already telling you. But we don't listen to it. Okay, we just move forward and go on because guess what? It's we said it in prayer and it's in our prayer journal. Okay, use wisdom. We got to use discernment. So, intensity is not intimacy. Anybody can create a spark. Anybody can create a spark, but peace takes consistency. So if it feels amazing but also overwhelming, that's not you being afraid of love. That's your spirit or your gut noticing the speed your heart hasn't agreed to yet. Okay? And real love won't punish you for going at a healthy pace. That's real love. Real love won't. So remember, and I'm preaching to the choir here, okay? If it feels magical but also stressful, that's your intuition. That's your gut noticing speed. And love that needs speed usually can't survive time. I'm going to say that again. Love that needs speed, the rush to the altar, the rush to become a couple, okay, exclusive, inclusive, or whatever it is. Okay, the rush to do this, the rush to do that, that's not love. And that's not going to survive time. Because speed doesn't. So love that needs speed usually can't survive time. And so I want to know, like, this is like the question of the episode. Have you ever stayed because of how someone made you feel at the beginning, even though who they are now feels completely different? Have you ever stayed because of how someone made you feel at the beginning? At the beginning, it was roses. At the beginning, you couldn't stop thinking about them. At the beginning, they texted all the time. At the beginning, they called all the time. At the beginning, they acknowledged you and made time for you. At the beginning. That was the beginning. And now that they've gotten you, now that, some time has passed, they're completely different. Not the memory, not the potential, not the introduction. I'm talking about the person they are today. Because let me say something. Are you in love with the person or attached to the emotional experience they created when they were trying to win you? A lot of us are attached to the emotional experience, and we're still on that emotional roller coaster of who they was in the beginning. Have you ever noticed, and I want to say this because the enemy is tricky. Have you ever noticed when you break up with someone, you ain't talked to them, in a while? What comes back to, unless it was like one of those tumultuous, like rocky roller coaster breakups, and then you don't want to think about that person, never forget that. But even sometimes, even in that, have you ever noticed that when you're not with a person or, they're an ex now, and when you start thinking about them, what's the first thing that comes back to your mind? The first thing that the enemy brings to your mind is all the good stuff they did. Oh, I remember when he, brought me roses. Oh, I remember when I was going through a family crisis and she was there for me. Oh, I remember when he gave me his last, few dollars just so I can put gas in the car. Oh, I remember, when we, took that trip. Oh, I remember. You start remembering, you start romanticizing and remembering all that stuff. And do you know that's like a cloud that the enemy puts over our senses or our brains to make us remember all that good stuff that somebody has done? And then that's what pushes us back, no matter what they did, the wolf they became, right? We go back to those sheep moments and who they were, in the beginning. And then a lot of times that's what pushes us back into being into a relationship with chaos. Okay, into being into a relationship with people that, honey, no, we're not talking about their beginning. We're talking about their ending. Do you see how he ended though? I know what he did in the beginning, but do you see how he ended though? Okay, I know how she was in the beginning, but do you see her ending? Like, and you romanticizing over what they did in the beginning. That pushed you back into, let me see what they doing. Let me call them. Right. Let me call them. Let me send them the email. I just want to see how they doing. I just want to see, no, that's a trap. That is a trap. So I want to know your thoughts, because this one right here opens eyes. And I've been bamboozled many times with doing that. Okay, love bombing is truly real. The relationship didn't end well, but I kept romanticizing about the beginning. And that's what took me back into the relationship. And then when I got back in it, I realized, oh my goodness, why did I do this? Why did I make this mistake and go back into this? I should have saw that, there was a reason why we broke up. It's the reason why they're called an ex. But romanticizing takes us back into destruction. So I wanna know your thoughts though. So email me at inspirationswithroshonda@gmail.com. Let's have a conversation, okay? And let's see what's going on. But with anything, we need prayer. With anything, we need discernment. With anything, we need wisdom. And the only way for us to get those things, if we go to God in prayer, if we ask the Lord to, come in, all right, into this situation before it happens. If we put people before God, before we put them in our hearts. Okay, so you know how we do it here at the Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast. We bring prayer into every episode, asking God to lead, guide, and direct us in our thought processes, in our heart processes. Okay, and this episode, it's no different. So let's pray really quick. God, give us discernment where feelings are loud and truth is quiet. Help us not confuse attention with intention, and not mistake pressure for love. Slow our hearts down enough to see clearly, and heal the parts of us that rush to feel chosen. Teach us to recognize peace, not just passion, as a sign that something is from you. And if we're holding on to what once was, or what once felt good, but Lord, if it's no longer good for us, give us the strength to release it with wisdom and not guilt. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Listen, ladies and gents, if this conversation spoke to you, sit with it this week. You don't have to rush clarity. You can go back and play the episode, because I feel like I kind of, maybe I went through a little too fast and maybe you didn't catch that. Girl, listen, go back and listen to the episode. Just start paying attention to what brings you peace and what keeps you anxious. And before we go, quick update. This year, we're shifting the rhythm a little bit. So instead of monthly episodes of the Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast, we used to come out every third Monday of the month. So starting this month, that's going to change. Okay. And we're going to drop an episode every other month. So now, instead of coming out every third Monday, we're going to be coming out every other month. So the next episode of the Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast will be in April. So look for us, okay? Same heart, same real conversations, just giving us, more time to live life, gather wisdom, and come back with something worth the sit down, okay? So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next outing. And I also want to say, if you listened to the podcast back in November, I was telling you guys that I came out with, a little children's story. It was called Gobble Different. That's still on YouTube. YouTube over there, Set Apart Stories. But we have another little children's episode that's coming out this week, and it's called Millie Moo and the Picture Day Blues. Okay, that's coming out this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. talking about confidence. And a little something about me. I didn't grow into my confidence until I turned 30 years old. Okay, I was a late bloomer. So, but I didn't have people in my life at the time when I was, 5, 6, to even show me what confidence was. I just knew that I did not like me. I didn't like the way I looked. People didn't like the way I talked. People didn't, and so I had all these insecurities built up about me. And it took me getting to 30 to realize that, hey, girl, I'm good. Like, I'm wonderful. I love my personality. I look good. I may not be everybody's cup of tea, but okay. Yes, girl, look at you. So it took me a minute to get to that. And so I feel like with kids, if they start young, if we start, putting things into them at a younger age, then maybe they won't have to wait like I did until 30 to realize that they are a wonderful person, no matter how they look, or how they sound or anything like that. So that's what the story is about. So it's for children, but baby, okay, go over there and listen to it. Okay, you might find a little wisdom in there, get a little confidence in there for yourself. Okay. So, that's coming out this Wednesday again over there on YouTube. It's called Set Apart Stories channel. So go and check it out, share it, with others, so you'll be able to do that. You'll also be able to leave a comment and just let me know what you think about it. So listen. Like I said, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next outing. And as always, if you need a girlfriend perspective, you know where to find me. So until our next outing, this tab is on me and this girlfriend's out. Peace. Thanks for joining today's Girlfriend's Girlfriend podcast outing. I hope our chat brought you comfort and a new perspective. Listen, if you got a question, don't forget you can text the show or email me at inspirationswithroshonda@gmail.com, and it might be featured in an upcoming episode. Remember, every girl needs a friend, and I'm here for advice, a laugh, or just to listen. Stay connected by subscribing, and you'll never miss a new episode. Until our next chat, this girlfriend's out. Peace.